So hey everyone, we're gonna talk about ledge grab limits. It's a topic that every so often gets talked about in the melee scene, depending on like a recent string of events. But usually, what happens is there's like one tournament, or maybe like a highlighted set or two, or maybe even a player that has used the ledge a lot and abusing the ledge grab to really just stall and use the invincibility to win the game. But then what usually happens is it doesn't come up much more, and then we stop talking about it. In fact, I believe I made a video about this very specific topic for Yahoo Esports about 2 to 3 years ago when there was a lot of sets that were going to timeout involving Ice Climbers and Puff. We're in 2019 now, and we occasionally see that with like players like Michael. I can't really remember the other people off the top of my head, but there's a lot more stalling, and what it means is that there's a lot more people willing to stall and play the clock to win the game. Whereas in the past, you kind of had this gentleman's agreement of, well, I think Melee is a sick game, I want to approach, you want to approach, and you just kind of scramble. Like, you don't really fully play to optimize the experience of maximizing chances to win. You kind of play, you want to do sick stuff, you like the movement of the game. But now we are shifting over, and there are a lot more people willing to pretty much do whatever it takes to win. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Melee is a competition, you want to do the strategy that you best think will win the game. Now, throughout the history of Melee, we have seen tweets, we have seen Smashboard posts from the likes of Hacks. You know, Hacks wrote a post about this very topic many years ago, saying that there should be a limit. Muta King said that Puff is broken, and that once Puffs realized they could just plank and ledge plank by just regrabbing the ledge over and over again, that Puff becomes the best character. And we meme about it, but he said that, well, I played Puff for like the very first time. I floor stocked J-Man, who was a top 5 player back then. Clearly, this is broken. Leffen has posted about this on and off. And so, first off, why this is kind of coming up again today is that there was a set between Wizrobe and Hungrybox. Wizrobe has been known to camp top platform, and in fact, he's won the past 3 sets, playing a pretty defensive, non-interactive style. And Hungrybox has resorted to at CEO 2019, saying, like, if I ever get a lead, I'm just going to start ledge camping and seeing if Wizzy starts approaching me. So there's, like, kind of this, like, kind of game of chicken where, like, both players are refusing to approach. Now, I kind of bring both up. I'm not saying that the both are, like, comparable, or, like, I think they're different levels. So, like, I think there's a lot more counterplay to top platform camping versus like ledge planking with certain characters. I think ledge planking, first off, straight out invalidates a lot of characters that can't deal with it. So while there could be a separate discussion here about top platform camping, I really primarily want to focus this on ledge grab limits. So when I think of like enforcement and bans, and there are prior cases to ledge grab limits. In fact, Brawl had a rule set because the ledge was actually even better in Brawl, and Plank infamously started planking, and they said, like, well, hey, like, if we put we need to put a ledge grab limit, or else this game is going to die. And so they put a limit, and I don't remember exactly how it goes, but I guess if the game goes to time, then you check the ledge grabs, which is actually trackable by the game, and then if you exceed the limit, you lose the game. And that's how it goes. Now, one of the big things we talk about when we talk about camping is, well, how do we identify what is camping? And let's say you go to, like, I'm just going to bring up the example of top platform camping. If you top platform camp, like, there isn't really, like, an official rule you can really follow. It's hard to regulate what defines, like, camping too much. And so, it becomes really tough to really enforce, like, what is top platform camping. But with ledge grab limits, you can actually, With ledge grabbing, there's actually a feature in the post game called cliffhangers, where you can actually count the number of times that you re-grab the ledge, and so there is some degree of enforcement here. And I think if we were ever going this direction, it is something that is very enforceable at the end of the game. You just you just scroll through the things, and so we already cover that basis. It's an enforceable thing. You can count it, you can regulate it, and I think that's one of the first important aspects of creating a rule is this rule even enforceable? Now, with that being said, what should be a good number? And I think within the constraints of the game, there are a lot of characters that will naturally grab the ledge a lot throughout the course of the game. And we don't want to punish those players where their character will grab the ledge a lot just through the normal course of the game. So if you made it like 10 and a player grabs the ledge 10 times, then everybody's going to lose. So we can agree that a low number is bad for the game. We can also agree that if the number is arbitrarily too high, like if it's like 400, well, even if you want to camp, like it's not the camper or the person that's going to be abusing ledge grab is never going to reach that number. So what is the happy medium here, where if you play normally, that you are not ever going to likely ever hit that number, but it will also enforce that people don't abuse the ledge. I don't know the number off the top of my head. If I were to ballpark, 50 to 60 sounds reasonable, but I'm open to exploration on what that number is. I can't really figure it out, but that's like the number that I am tentatively thinking. I could be wrong. I'm not really fully sure what that number is. So some of the issues that we come up with is why is this so good that it's potentially ban-worthy? If we haven't really seen this happen, can there be counterplay developed to beat this? I think a large part of the issue is that some characters can kind of beat it, but there's so many mix-ups involving the ledge that you kind of have to outplay Puff from the ledge so many times, and you might do a little bit of damage each time you win. But if the Puff is super abusive, he just needs one read, and effectively the player that has to beat the ledge camping has to outplay an astronomical amount of times to make it competitive. Now, the interesting thing is well, what if you just get a lead? Then can Puff ledge camp? Or no, in the case is probably not. But at any point in the game, if Puff has any kind of percentage lead, then he could go to the ledge and start stalling. And so those are some of the gameplay arguments I've heard from different top players. Is this is why it's an issue. You have to outplay the Puff so many times to even get a kill, but Puff just has to outplay you once, is the supposed argument that I'm hearing. Not that I necessarily agree or disagree with. I have to think of the theory crafting behind this more. Now, moving up ahead, if there is nothing that's being enforced, again, we've kind of slid by in this community based on kind of a gentleman's agreement in Melee. People don't really opt to camp each other out. We don't really see that. But if there's a universe, I'm thinking of this with Thanos, and I see the Marvel jersey on Hungrybox right now. If there's a universe where players are just blatantly abusing it, then does it kill the game? Does it kill viewership? Does it kill growth? And I think that's one of the more important questions to be asking. Because before, Hungrybox would use it once in a while. I think there was a period of time he used it in 2015 when he was trying to camp out foxes. But now we're seeing it come again. And I do think, if I were to give my opinion here, that there needs to be some sort of ledge camping. And I think the number should be good enough that it covers people who play the game normally. And it doesn't punish those players, but it punishes players that blatantly camp. So those are kind of my general thoughts. I think it is not healthy for the game. I don't think it's healthy for viewership. I don't think it's healthy for growth. I don't think it's healthy for the gameplay. And I think it's just hyper degenerative. Now, none of those reasons I mentioned on its own in a vacuum are probably good. None of those are good enough reasons on its own merit to say this should be banned. But when you look at everything and you combine all the factors together, then I think there is some merit to looking at it. And so that's my opinion now. It could be subject to change. I'm interested to see what Leffen, Armada, and other top players think about it. And so those are just my thoughts. And if you have your own thoughts, just go ahead and on this inevitable YouTube video, just go ahead and share your comments.